Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the True Crime Cafe. I am so glad to see you guys join us today for Coffee and a Cold Case. Guys, we have a good one today. Quite interesting. Very sad. 50 years old. Again, another old one. This is out of Michigan. The Oakland County child killer case that still, after 50 years, has no answers. So let's see what we can come up with as we look into this. Mama Bear's going to be joining me here shortly. Once we get rolling, guys, thank you again so much for joining us. Grab your cup of Joe, get it filled up, and let's get this show on the road. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Beep, beep, beep. I'm good. How are you? Do it again. Want to try it again? No, just kidding. I'm great. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. How has your morning been so far?
So far, so good.
You sound chipper. That's good. You got some sleep, I take it?
Yeah, I did. Slept good.
Good. Good, good, good. I didn't, but I'm still in a good mood.
Yeah, my husband didn't either.
No?
Mm-mm.
What's up? Why not?
I think it's anxiety.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going around.
It sounds like it.
Going around right now. I think everybody's got a little dose of that here and there. SRB was having issues yesterday. I'm having issues last night and today. I don't know. I had an anxiety attack right after I shut down the decompression thing, the music stream, and went to lay down. And I was like wide awake. I was exhausted when I shut it down. No. And then I was sitting worrying about things and thinking about things and worrying about things and thinking about things.
Mm-hmm.
I do it all the time. So,
Yep.
but before that, we had a good time last night.
Good.
I think everybody enjoyed themselves that was there. At least they said they did, unless they was lying to me. More anxiety, more anxiety. I'm just kidding. Mikey says, "Oh, 8 cup of no, not yet. This is number 5, Mike. We're getting there. I'm there a little. I'm a little hyper. That's okay though. Speaking of Mikey, who else we got? Stitches is in the house. Stormy Jane, of course, the lovely Mama Bear up here next to me. I'm so lucky for that. Mark Schumann, great to see you again. The last 24. Don't forget to jump over to his channel. The amazing and awesome Wisdom Speaks. Wait, no, she's on your side. She didn't even come to see me, so I'm not even saying nothing. All your people over there. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Michelle, I did this last night and I think I got it right. She said, Michelle pays work. Welcome back to you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Let's see here. Miss Trish Crow, welcome back. Great to see you today. See, I don't even know where I'm at. It is Wednesday. We're almost there. SRBBBB. Good to see you. I was. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing, Miss Jerry. Don't take me serious, please. I'm a little weird today. I think it's because I didn't get enough sleep. Um, Mercury is in retrograde. Anxiety is fun. Oh, maybe that's why I feel goofy today. There's Mikey's link. Captain Jenks, good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. As always, we got 21 peeps in the house with 11 likes. Come on, y'all. Do a little better, please, and thank you. Hello. Ermagerd is Cassie, the sassy one. Better known as, also known as Cassandra. Let me see. Show. Messing with people, it is. Something's not right because I just feel
Yeah.
goofy today. I do. And anxious at the same time. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Thank you, Stormy. You may have to own this, Mama Bear, and just run everything because I'm in some weird goofball mood today.
Hmm.
Brandy, can you hear me? I hope. Hello, Brandy B, the OG. I want to make sure you hear me say hi to you. She always misses it. Always. Last night, she turned a bunch of red faces and was like, I said, do you not like this song? She was like, no, he didn't say hi to me. And I was like, yes, I did. She never hears me say hi to her. Hello, Brandy B, the OG. Thank you for being here. We love you. Did you hear me that time?
I did.
Okay. I have a witness. Can I get a witness? In the words of Kirk Franklin. Welcome, got me stumped. Good to see you. Captonian. Can I get a witness? Does anybody else have any idea what I'm talking about when I say that? I bet you one person in here will.
When you say what?
Can I get a witness? In the words of Kirk Franklin. I want to see if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I think there's one person that might get it. Eddie's in the house. Eddie, what have you done for me lately? JFK Jr. speaking about autism. Oh, good Lord.
Mm.
There's our Alicia. Well, I mean, oops. Alicia. See, I did that partially on purpose and on accident. Good morning, Alicia. Wonderful to see you.
I don't ever know how to say it because her name's spelled exactly the way my cousin is, but
It's not. It's not Alicia. I promise you, it's not.
it's
Unless
not.
unless you want
But
tomatoes thrown at your face.
I had back before I was married and had kids, I worked with someone. It was spelled that way, but it was, did she say it? Alicia.
Yeah,
My cousin pronounces it Alicia.
Alicia. Yes, I dated a girl named Alicia once.
And I accidentally said Alicia because I was just so used to saying it every day at work to my employee. And then she goes, "It's Alicia." I'm like, "I'm sorry, cuz,
See,
sorry."
it's weird though. The girl that I dated, her name was Alicia, but it was spelled Alisssha. But it can be pronounced the same way as her name is spelled, or spelled the same way her name is pronounced.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Oh shit, Gen 7 hit it right there. Stomped by Kirk Franklin. I'll be damned. Congrats. You get the prize today, which is nothing except being here with us. I'm sorry. I should start doing stuff
I was
like
gonna say,
that though.
Stormy said, "I know the song."
Well, she got it too. Yes, that was it's funny because when I used to DJ, that Kirk Franklin is like a gospel, it's religious based music. But when I used to DJ, people used to request that song in a club, and I always felt guilty playing that because it was about God. You know what I mean? And we're all sitting
Mhm.
there, everybody's drinking, and they're like, "Can we dance to this?" And I'm thinking, "Do I play this or do I not?" But everybody wanted it, and it was a hell of a song back in the day. It had a great like rhythm and beat and everything.
Mm. I was gonna say, if it's gospel,
Oh
I don't
shit!
know it.
This is who I thought would get it right here, and she
Ah,
did. She get the album too, but the other three, all three of them got it. Yep, my life was in your hands, and it's about Jesus. You know what I mean? So to play it in a nightclub, the first time somebody come up to me, I was like, they're like, "Hey, can we get some Stomp by Kirk Franklin?" And I went, "You want me to play that in here?" They were like, "Hell yeah, man, hell yeah, that song hits." And I said, "Yeah, it does. We're in a club, everybody's drinking. Really? Does this feel right to you? Come on, man. God loves everybody." And I went, "Oh God, really? We're gonna go there? Okay." And it was just a regular thing, a regular like all the time then. And I felt so guilty playing it. And my wife even was like, uh, I DJ'd in her grandmother's bar too, and I played it, and we had a group, like a wall to wall group in there, and they
mhm.
wanted it. And she looked at me, she was like, "Are you really playing that?" And I said, "It's them, that ain't me." It's a hit. It's a really hard hitting song though. It sounds really good and it's uplifting and you know what I mean? So people like it. You see people dance to it though. It's crazy. Good morning, Ida. I won't make that mistake more than once. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, he's very talented. Very talented. But congratulations to the three of you. Gen 7. Welcome, by the way. I go from Allison Chains, Lane Staley. Yes. Tori Amos. Oh, well, you should have been here last night, Jen, because that's where I'm at all the time. I'll play anything from Slipknot to Frank Sinatra, whatever it is. Party with faith. Yes, ma'am. Amen. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Kirk Franklin used to do shows walking around. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Absolute same cornflake girl. Oh, geez. I remember the first time I heard Stomp. I was like, wow, that song was definitely, it'll grab you. That's for sure. under and over it. No, don't apologize. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. I hope everybody that was here did enjoy yourselves last night, though. Katy Perry. Has anybody in here heard of the Oakland County child killer case by any means whatsoever? If you have, throw one in the chat. And if not, I guess you can put a 2. Have you heard of this one, Mama Bear?
I don't think so.
It's an old one. Like I said, it's 50 plus years old now with nothing. I was in for a bit. Oh, Stormy doesn't like us enough to hang out with us, I see. Okay. It's all right. I understand. Alicia was here. She had a good time. We even got to meet her child. He was a trip last night. Denise was here. Good. It was definitely a good break. It kind of refreshes you when you get back into the true crime stuff the next day. -6, Eddie said. Absolutely doesn't know what it is. Okay, Alicia, it's all right. I understand completely. You don't like us or like me. It's all right. Good morning, Miss Paula. Wonderful to have you here. Is this the one with no, it's 4 kids, Alicia. That's another one that's bad though, what you're saying. There are 4 kids. They were all taken within a period of time and they were found as a weird case, guys. The kids were all found within different periods of time. They were held for a period of time, each one of them. And the fuck are you talking about? Me? I'm explaining it. I'm explaining it. I'm explaining. Calm down, Lucy. Good Lord. It was in Michigan, yes. Good Lord. She scares me, I'm telling you. I'm explaining. Hold on. There was 4 kids. They were all young kids, and they went missing at different times within I think it was a year period of time from 76 to 77, I believe. And when they were found, yes, thank you, Stormy. Each one of them was found laying in different areas like a ditch by the side of the road, so on and so forth, but their clothes were all very neatly pressed and clean, like they were washed. They had been fed and taken well care of until they were brought to that situation. It's very weird. They had multiple suspects. They believe there's a cover-up involved, possibly because one of the suspects was the child of a very, very high level employee in the upper echelon of General Motors. So crazy stuff. It is. And there's still no answers to this. So not you. I meant Stormy. Sorry. Did I say Alicia when I said that? You did hear this one. Yes, you're right there, Alicia. I said Stormy, not you. Good Lord, she's gonna slit my throat for Michigan. I didn't mean to. I was trying to say Stormy. I must have looked at your name at the same time. Don't forget my ADHD is a real thing. Yes, see, you just got to go with it. Wisdom knows. I'm going to hear a knock on the door here relatively soon, I'm sure. And she's going to be standing at the front door going, what did you just say? She doesn't live far. Yes, I could do that to people. I promise you I can. It's not hard. But why do you think Mama Bear just sits here quietly sometimes? She just lets the stupidity roll out and then she picks up the mess afterwards and fixes everything typically. If I could get my broom to work. Please don't. All right. And we got 21 peeps in here now with 19 likes. We're getting there. Make sure you guys share this out, please. Hit the like button if you have not yet done it. And please make sure to click the link in chat. Hop over and hit the like button for Mama Bear too. And of course, you're more than welcome to hang out over there with her. You didn't have any problems getting that up there working, did you?
Nope.
I'm cursed.
No, I told you I have to use 2 different emails. You just have to make you
I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
a dummy email.
What'd you call me?
I didn't say a word.
You were waiting on that one. Yes. Uh-huh. The babysitter killer, the snow murderer. Yes. Sometimes I get my son and grandson. It's worse for me, I promise you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes because I don't want to have to start this again once we get started. See who all we get in here before we get going. That's definitely interesting. And horrible that it's been this long with no answers to it, you know? Feel
Yeah,
really bad.
50 years seems like.
Yeah. Oakland County child killer is what I know it as. It's got these other names too. Thank you, Stormy. Let me see here. Show. Did Brandy hear me? Well, from what I read on it, Alicia, they said that um they thought that they had uh multiple times the good lord, where did it go? I can't even read my own notes today. There it is. They thought that they had the suspect can't find his name now. Well, they had multiple. They found DNA match that connected the cases. I think it was in 09, and a mitochondrial match from a James Vincent Gunnels, but there's nothing else they could find to put it together. So I'm in their mind, I think they think that's who did it. But then it goes back to the GM kid again. Yes. Bush. So they found, it's weird because they found DNA aspects with 2 or 3 of the suspects, which is strange to me. That are all, one of them was in prison during the murders. And there was some kind of a DNA link to him. There was also the Bush guy, and then this James Vincent Gunnels. And now then they also brought in the where'd it go? There's an island, North Fox Island. The person that owns that island, thinking that I think it's Francis Sheldon was his name, thinking that he might have been involved. But the Bush guy was the most apt person in their opinion.
Huh.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. But the weird thing is that Bush is the one that they've looked at the most. But this James Vincent Gunnels is the one that had the mitochondrial DNA match to, I believe it was more than one of the victims. So, and linked to all of the 4 victims together. So with mitochondrial DNA matching, they didn't have anything that matched Bush. That's what's weird to me, unless they were all involved, which is crazy to think of. You know, the DNA thing now is what it seems to be answering and solving these old cases like this. So I think at this point, it probably will never be solved, sadly, but I'll show you what's going on. Have you seen I Am Evidence? It's a documentary on Max. It's really good. It is about the astronomical amount of cold cases. Oh, no. Maybe thought somebody said that was on Netflix. Okay. I'll have to check it out, though. It sounds interesting. Yes. Yes. Mark Struman, good to see you, my friend. Telemarketer 6 called. Oh, yeah, I had a bunch of them yesterday, too. They must have got a new list or something. They were one after another. We got 30 peeps in the house, 20 likes. We're getting up there. Come on in, everybody. Yes, Christopher Bush was the GM executive's son that was the main suspect throughout the whole case. Blows my mind because because of who he was. It was there's a belief of a cover up throughout the whole thing. So, and that's sad. We've seen that more than once. Anybody of importance or anybody that's related to anybody of importance, where money's involved, has a tendency to get away with everything.
Mhm.
And that's just not the way life should work
No.
at all. I did watch a really interestingly dumb movie last night.
Interestingly dumb.
I'm going to tell you the name of it and you just take it from there. It was called Popeye, the Slayer Man.
Why would you even watch that?
Have you met my son?
Oh, he picked it.
Yeah, he's like, let's see what it is. Sure. Here we go. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. So stupid. I told him, I said, Caden, you are not allowed to pick movies ever again. It's new and it looks like it made about $40 to make the cost about $40 to make the movie. Yeah. And I tried to shut it off midway through. He's like, no, we got to see what happens now. We really don't. Really don't. The guy in the movie looked just like Popeye. There was an olive oil. He had something stupid happened to him and made his arms puff up like that, and he couldn't help but kill people. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I love you, Caden, but never again. Always wary of DNA these days. I can't help but considering it is used to find criminals in for good, but now I'm oh yes. Yes, ma'am. I agree with that one. Chris and Ted. Lamborghini, they both seem like gotcha. Well, all right, I'm going to start this as I try to always do with some form of a news break on it. This is after it had been 50 years news thing out of Detroit News, Channel 2, Fox 2, sorry. And then we'll go into the rest of it. Yeah, it really has, guys. And it's become a thing that is very scary nowadays, especially with trace DNA or touch DNA or whatever you want to call it. It's a dangerous thing. So, all right, let's see what we got first and foremost. Yeah, and again, thank you guys all for joining us. I appreciate you very much.
Since the Oakland County child killer murdered 4, I believe, but it's been nearly 50 years since the Oakland County child killer murdered 4 children and terrified an entire community.
And the murders are still unsolved, and the memories still haunt those who lived through it. Fox News' Amy Lang joins us now live with a look back through our archives as WJBK Channel 2 marks 75 years of bringing us stories that really matter. And this was a tough one for so many people, Amy.
Absolutely, and it still is. Rupen Taryn, Channel 2 reporters have been covering this crime for nearly 5 decades. Here is how the case unfolded all those years ago.
I want the case solved, and I don't care where it comes from.
Barry King spent decades searching for justice for his son, Timothy King, one of the 4 victims of the Oakland County child killer. Sadly, King would die in 2020, not knowing who was responsible for the heinous crimes, the strangulations and shootings, the sexual assaults of the boys, a case that has haunted the region for nearly 50 years.
It all began on February 2nd, 1976. Everyone thought it was an isolated case, but the murder of Mark Stebbins of Ferndale remains unsolved. His body turned up 2 weeks after he disappeared in a parking lot in Southfield. The 12-year-old had left his mother and brother at a social function, never to be seen alive again.
And that's one of the weirdest things with this, you guys, too, is that out of the 4 children, there were 2 boys and 2 girls, and only the 2 boys were SA'd, sadly. The 2 girls were not. Never ever fails. Sorry. No, they're talking about 75 years of bringing cases SRB, not this one specifically. This is 50. But that was a weird situation to me, and it was hard to decipher the type of person. You know what I mean? So very strange, very strange.
Again.
Not a day goes by, where you don't want.
Now, one of the articles I was reading was that they thought possibly it was different people because of the way that went down. I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. I think it's the same person or persons, possibly. And I'm kind of with Alicia on this, with Bush. I think he's the more likely suspect in this, but like I said, there's DNA matches to this that are just very strange. So
Wonder and, worry about it, the whys and the wherefores, how long he had been dead before his body was found, who it was, where he was, what he had to go through. And, yes, I'm still very bitter.
Between the time Mark's body was found and that interview was conducted, another youngster had entered what was to be a growing list of infamy. From Royal Oak, Jill Robinson, 12 years old, was missing. She ran away after a fight with her mother. No one knows anything about the person she met on that adventure, only that that person is a killer. In 4 days, it was the day after Christmas. Her body turned up in Troy. She was dead of a shot.
Yeah, they should have, with all the evidence that they've had, and there were vehicle matches and different things. This should have been solved, which is where the possibility of the cover-up came into a play because of who Christopher Bush was and who his father was. But this definitely should have been solved years ago. They had so much evidence on this, and like I said, there were vehicle matches and witness accounts and everything, and it didn't happen. It's crazy, very crazy. Thanks for bringing cold cases to light. It's important. I'm not usually in a lot of chats these days, but wanted to thank you for bringing up these kids. Oh, absolutely. That's exactly why I do it. Well, thank you for being here to see and hear them. I appreciate you very much.
Shotgun blast to the head. County Prosecutor Brooks Patterson told me the investigation would not soon end.
Still remain anonymous, but the investigation is proceeding. But I can't say that a suspect has surfaced nor that an arrest is imminent. I don't think the public expects these things to be broken in 48 hours.
48 hours passed once, twice, over and over. And while the search for the child killer continued, it happened again. The victim this time, Timothy King, age 11, of Birmingham. Last seen at a party store 3 blocks from home. Found a few weeks later on a dark roadside in Livonia.
Livonia police kept a mile-long stretch of Gill Road blocked and allowed only a select group of investigators near the body. Though no official statements were being made, the red jacket Timothy King was wearing when he disappeared could be seen from the roadblock. The police began checking license plates and cars going both directions on a mile-long stretch of 8 Mile Road in hopes that a suspect would return to the scene. As part of the routine, Oakland County deputies stopped and searched several people but turned up nothing.
Do you have any reason to believe that the suspect might still be in the area?
Nothing specific, no. But this type of crime, very often the responsible will return just to see what's going on.
I still feel the most important aspect is the investigation and get this animal off the street.
Oakland County became concerned, fearing it might be an ugly pattern developing. Residents' worst thoughts seemed to be coming true when 10-year-old Christine Mihalic never came home from a 3-block trip to a party store in Berkeley. Within 2 weeks, she too was found dead, this time in Franklin Village. Local police departments, state police, and the county began one of the most intensive searches in Michigan's history. And so with this scene now all too vivid in our minds, the search continued, but turned up nothing of importance. In fact, the Oakland County Task Force was disbanded near the end of last year due to a lack of funds. The consensus? That the killer was either dead himself or gone from our communities, possibly never to be found again. The task force had exhausted thousands of hours, hundreds of thousands of tips, and the mystery continued, and it continues today.
An investigation that still continues, and for the families, a grief that never truly goes away.
Me and my brother fishing.
Michael Stebbins reliving happy memories of his childhood with his younger brother, Mark.
Life was good. My brother and I, we got along great.
But that all ended when 12-year-old Mark Stebbins disappeared in February of 1976. He was playing pool with his brother at the American Legion Hall in Ferndale and decided to go home early to watch a movie.
And you know what else bugs me about this too? No matter who did it, why did it stop? If nobody was caught, why did it stop? You know what I mean? If you did the 4, typically somebody like this will continue until they're caught. I don't. I looked at the Christopher Bush situation and really didn't see anything that would have stopped it. There was the one guy that was in prison during most of the murders, but that's the one thing that has really kind of floored me too with this is why. Did you think that they were onto you? Did you get scared, or did something happen in that period of time that caused this to stop? You know what I mean? Because that typically doesn't happen. It was very strange. Right, Wisdom. I can understand completely. I was tiny, 2 years old, I think, 2 to 3 years old. So yeah, it's very scary. That's what I was wondering, is if he got scared, and I almost wondered if his father may have known and said, "You better stop your shit now," or something like that, and scared him to death. Maybe it's possible. Some people are just don't do the right thing. So, just saying.
But he never made it.
Everything went south from there.
His body found days later in a snowbank. Mark Stebbins was the first of 4 young victims murdered by the Oakland County child killer in 1976 and 1977. Although there have been possible suspects over the years, the murders remain unsolved.
It tore my life
Welcome, Aurora. Thank you for joining us today.
apart for a long time. It did. It really did.
And as the decades pass, Stebbins still wonders.
What would happen if I would have left the American Legion at the same time as my brother? Could I have saved him?
Amy Lang, Fox 2 News.
And even after all this time, it's possible someone out there still knows something that could help authorities solve this crime. So if so, they want to hear from you.
That's devastating to think that the person who did this may have died, or, as you pointed out in the story, may have moved out. Still, though, there needs to be closure for these families.
Yeah, and it's so sad to see that Barry King, who fought so hard for answers, that he passed away still not knowing.
I think that was the one consistent thing we remember seeing so much throughout the years. He really did fight to the very end. But you'd hope with DNA, the technology as it continues to advance, maybe just at some point there will be some link, but who knows?
And maybe, that could happen. Maybe somebody out there has the just little bit of information that could really solve something that's been a mystery for almost.
Could be, Mark.
Good work digging through the archives and bringing that story. 75 years of bringing stories on this television station. Some are more painful than others, but so important.
And such a great job by all the reporters over the years who've covered this, as well as Doug Tracy, who is our archivist and an amazing photographer who pulled all of this video so we could put these stories together. We have a lot more coming up.
Thanks, Amy.
All right, moving on. There really was and isn't, because it's so old, much news coverage on it other than something like that. So hang on here. Let me get this up and moving for you guys. If it's going to work. Take a good old time here.
We got nothing but time. Huh.
This computer thing. It only does this in the morning. It's like it's sleeping in or something. You have to wake it up and get it moving for you. Hold on, guys. It's coming. I promise. I have it here. It's going to work at some point.
Hmm.
Come on now. Sorry, Aurora. I'm trying. Okay, now. Good God. Please work.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Okay, here we go. So some of the topics in this can be a little touchy, could cause triggering. Just to be safe, I wanted to put that up for you guys. And let's go.
This is a WDIV production.
Thank you, Lisa.
They tied him so damn tight. You know, you try to fight, it just cuts into you.
How can you just kill a 12-year-old in the middle of a very busy intersection and no one knows anything? How can that be?
Their bodies were tossed by public roadsides, almost as if to taunt officers.
We were being told that these were isolated incidents. They were working on them and to be careful, but there still was no child killer out there that was a serial type of killer. So our communities were on edge. However, we thought our authorities were solving these crimes and it would all go away.
I'm guessing he was disguised as a police officer, disguised as a priest.
Pretty much at a standstill unless some people step forward.
The whole community was in terror.
We don't know how he was asphyxiated. He could have been asphyxiated by somebody holding a pillow over his face. He could have been asphyxiated in a trunk of a car that didn't leak air.
There were unusual aspects to this beyond the horror of a child being abducted.
My sister had premonitions that she was going to die. She knew she was going to die.
Money does a lot of strange things to people. It can do anything.
Oakland County enjoyed back then, and still does today, enjoys a reputation of being a safe community, good place to raise a family, good schools and so forth. So to have 4 kids kidnapped and murdered right in the middle of the 70s in this county, it was surreal.
Oakland County is the wealthiest county in Michigan. It is now, and it was then in the 60s and the 70s.
We grew up in Ferndale, a couple blocks south of 9 Mile. and, you know, west or east of Woodward. It was a good neighborhood, and all the neighbors were good there.
On February 15th, 1976, Mark Stebbins was walking home from the American Legion at Livernois and 9 Mile, where his mother worked.
She worked as a bartender at the American Legion Hall in Ferndale, and there was a pool tournament there. And he wanted to go home to watch a movie.
I think it was 30 seconds over Tokyo because he was a war buff. And when I got there and he wasn't there, it's like, something's wrong with this picture.
We don't know where exactly he was picked up.
My mom called from the American Legion. She asked me, is Mark there? I'm like, no. And she's like, well, I don't understand that.
He headed home and never made it.
And the Ferndale police says, well, we have to wait about 24 hours to report a missing person. And it's like, for a child, you know, a 12-year-old kid, you got to wait 24 hours?
No one heard anything. No one saw anything. He was missing for 4 days.
Then on the 19th, the bottom of the world just dropped out.
4 days later, his body was found at behind an office complex at 10 and Greenfield.
A person walking his dog in a strip mall in Southfield. I think it was called Fairfax Plaza. Saw something against a short brick wall, and he said he thought it was a mannequin. You know, he walked up, and it was a body of a small boy.
Why would somebody take my brother off the street and do such brutal things and murder him? And I beat myself up for a long time, a lot of years. And it's like, I thought to myself, well, what if I would have walked home with him? Would he have made it? Or who knows, would they have tried to get both of us? I have no idea.
No specific suspects. We're looking into a background of a lot of people who have got backgrounds of this type of offense right now.
Not completely, as of yet, critical. It's still considered an open, unsolved case.
With the killing of Mark Stebbins, real fear shot through the community. Real fear on the point of hysteria.
December 22nd, Jill is at home in Royal Oak. They had recently moved to Royal Oak. Her mom was divorced. Her mom, Carol Robinson. They'd separated when the youngest was a baby.
I am Jill Robinson's sister. I was 9 and she was 12. And Mom and my 2 sisters and I lived in Detroit growing up, and then we moved out of there to be in a safer neighborhood.
Jill was not in a good mood that night.
Early reports had indicated she had a fight with her mother.
Carol repeatedly asked her, "What's wrong, honey? What's wrong?"
She packed a backpack, got on her bike, and then left.
I haven't seen her since, and I wasn't really very worried for an hour or so because she's very stubborn. And I thought she'll stand in the next yard and think about it and or go around the block or something. And then I thought maybe she went to visit her father in the next yard.
This is where it gets hard. Okay, so then I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I think I'm not going to cry. But anyways, so she becomes missing off of her bike.
Her father lived some distance away. So what she did is she packed a backpack, got on her bike, and then left. and that is the last anyone of it had ever seen of her.
I said, Jill, where are you going? She said, none of your business. And I'm the one that was the last one to see her, and I had to go out to the shed to look for her bike because my mom was gone to work or something. And so I had to go out and look, and her bike was gone. So I think that she went to my dad's, which was like 5 miles down the road, 6 in Birmingham. And she was last seen somewhere along the way at Tiny Tim's hobby shop or whatever that was called. I don't know.
I thought somebody found Jill. It's okay.
Mrs. Robinson is especially worried because today, Christmas, is something that Jill was really looking forward to. She had saved enough money from her allowance to buy gifts that still remain unopened.
She was missing from December 21st, and then they found her the day after Christmas.
That's horrible, Trish. I'm so sorry to hear that. My deepest condolences, thoughts and prayers to you both. You and the family. That's horrible. So sorry. I hope that justice is served on that for sure. Good Lord.
I remember, like, we couldn't open our presents. We didn't open our presents. We were waiting. She was gone. It wasn't even Christmas. I don't even know what I got. Doesn't matter. But the day after Christmas, I was there when the cop came to the door and said, your sister's been shot in the head and found in the middle of I-75 in Big Beaver. And I remember my mom just reacting and being, how do you react to that? So very sad. And so they said that she was, shot in the face and her body was found. And it's unbelievable to me that someone doesn't know something about her whereabouts from those days that she was missing.
See, that's why I had other questions too, because some of the mode of death, okay, cause of death and manner of death, sorry, not mode, are different. There was asphyxiation and suffocation, but this little girl sadly was a blast to the face with a shotgun. That's completely different than other situation, and it's weird. Typically somebody that does this, they stick to what their MO is, and that's that. But again, there was another question as to why. Why is this one different? Was there something that happened, or is it another person involved? That's why I've been stuck with the thought on this as I was reading this. When I first looked at this the other day, that Christopher Bush, like I said, is the one that is the main suspect to me. But knowing these different manners of death is just strange. It's very strange. So yeah, definitely no remorse. I'll say that Michelle is correct. So sorry, Trish.
Because how can you just kill a 12-year-old in the middle of a very busy intersection and no one knows anything? How can that be? So
I knew I had a great news story here, and I went on the air in our next newscast and did the story about the Oakland County child killer. It was the first time, I think, that anyone had ever uttered those words in our area.
I think it's worthwhile. We have to find the girl. We need information to find the girl, no matter what the situation is, and that's why I'm here. I think this is the only way we can do it.
Very true.
You can't keep someone for 19 days or 4 days or whatever it is and be a single individual. I just think it would be next to impossible.
It will be a week tomorrow since Christine Mihalik disappeared while coming home from this store. In those 6 days, the community has come to realize that a missing child in this area is not merely the problem of the parents. Most of those out collecting funds today have families also.
I can remember riding our bikes. At the time, it seems like it would have been behind all of the storefronts there on 12 Mile on the north side. I think they maybe had like alleys and parking lots by them. And I remember riding our bikes with the neighborhood kids throughout that particular area. And really, that's about it. And a few other memories that we had at our family cottage up north. I only have one memory that I recall from when she went missing, and it would have been my grandmother and I were laying in bed watching TV, and I remember seeing the news flash coming up with her picture in terms of missing, and the news channels asking if anyone had seen her. And I remember asking her, you know, why is Chris's picture on TV? I couldn't figure that out. And I'm sure my parents probably did not tell me essentially, you know, what was happening. And if they did, it certainly didn't recollect in my thoughts in terms of what was happening in terms of the scenario.
The money is being used for reward for apprehensions of persons or persons who are holding Christine.
I knew about it as a young man.
Thank you very much.
I lived in Berkeley, grew up in Berkeley in the 70s. My dad was a Berkeley detective. He grew up with Bob Bell, who was Christine Mihalik's grandfather.
Christine was kept for 19 days. I thought it was just so poignant that her mom said, Deborah Jarvis said the reason she was kept for 19 days is because they so enjoyed her company because she was such a sweet.
And that was another thing that was interesting. She was kept the longest, but she's the one that, like I said, had the most dramatic manner of death, in my opinion. So I wondered if those two things had anything to do with each other. Maybe she tried to escape, possibly, and did maybe get away. And that was the way the person stopped her, possibly. I don't know, guys. It just, these things bounce around in my head trying to figure this out, but I don't know. It's crazy.
Kid.
Her body was found 19 days later in Franklin Township, partially buried in a snowbank.
Later found on Bruce Lane in Franklin, Michigan, which 13 in Telegraph area, dumped in the snow. And I believe a mailman spotted her body that day.
Any of our Michigan people in chat here, are these what are the areas that this happened in? Do you know the types of areas these are? Are they high crime areas? Are they, not? Well, now would be different than 50 years ago, but that's a good point, Alicia. And that's what I was thinking too. We're lined up here. That maybe they developed the killer developed a distorted relationship with this child, as in, a liking to this one, because she was such a sweet child, you know what I mean? And that at that point, it was very hard to do the act of the strangle, you know what I mean? So yeah, or the suffocation. That's an interesting theory too, Alicia. Very good theory. I see why you're in true crime now. You think about these things critically. I know Flint was. Yeah, I know Flint's very high. Oakland was a decent area from my understanding. Very bad. See? Gotcha. That's what I'm just part of my little thought process. I was curious. Thank you for that, both of you.
She was found.
It's just a place that you can't go and think about where she would have been for 19 days and what she would have gone through. I just simply can't go there.
Kim was abducted on March 16, 1977, sexually abused, and suffocated on March 22nd.
So now police know they have a serial child killer on their hands. And they organized the largest manhunt in U.S. history at the time.
There were differences between each case, different enough.
That's a good point too, Stitches. Maybe he knew her beforehand. Well, like I said, guys, the girls were not SA'd. There was no sexual assault, but the boys were. So it's just the psychological side of this is very weird to me, and I can't get things squared away. And I keep going back to thinking there's more than one person involved in this, and maybe there's separate incidents. Maybe there was a copycat that came forth after the first. You know what I mean? I don't know. Or if there was multiple, maybe. Who knows? But I really keep always, after I think about all these things, it always takes me right back to Christopher Bush again. And the other gentleman whose mitochondrial DNA showed up. I think it was James Vincent Ganells was the other one. But still, it's just it's all over the place. My thought process is crazy with this. So they were not hid. It was meant to be found. The person wanted to make cities scared by the very, very, very good point, Michelle. Very good point. And Alicia, thank you, Stormy.
That we just couldn't connect all the dots. But when Timothy King was found murdered, things became very clear.
Barry and Marion were with a client having dinner there. Kathy was on her way to go see Jerry Lewis.
His sister Kathy had given him some change to go down to the corner store, Hunter Maple Pharmacy, to get some candy.
Mark had a babysitting job that night.
The other was working on a school play at high school.
Mark had the lead in the 9th grade play up here, and they wanted him to come up for that. So Chris went to babysit.
He was 11 or 12 years old.
Thank you, Sherry.
Took his skateboard, went down the street.
And was never seen again.
The key to Timothy King's disappearance is still the rear door here at the Hunter Maple Pharmacy. This is where the youngster was last seen leaving at 8:30 Wednesday night.
I don't feel bad about taking Marion out to dinner. I don't feel bad about the other kids going where they went. So I wouldn't have made any decisions the other way.
And authorities are saying that somebody must have seen something that evening, and they're asking people to come forward.
The family of Timothy King went public and begged the killer to let their child live and to release Tim.
Somebody from television came to me, and I just thought I was talking to Tim.
Well, I want to say hi to Tim. We love you, Tim. God bless you. Stay tough. I have one other statement to those persons or person who may be with Tim. I don't know if you have children or if you want to have some, but please treat Tim the same way you would your own kid. Talk to him. He's a talkative kid if you spend some time with him.
This street will be closed until probably sometime late this afternoon to allow the crime lab people to do the thorough job that we have asked of them. Tentatively, the body of the young lad down there is Timothy King.
Are they checking license numbers and cars thoroughly to see perhaps if there's a suspect in the area?
Gentlemen, we're doing a number of things that we can't release right at this time. I still feel the most important aspect is the investigation and get this animal off the street.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
I'm convinced to this day that when Timmy was kidnapped, he knew what was going to happen to him. And as an 11-year-old kid, there was nothing he could do about it. I can't imagine anybody doing what they're doing. And I can't imagine people not turning people in that do that. But I can't change society.
I'm not afraid to tell the story now. Even as a grown man, you know, you got that little boy inside you that doesn't want to tell anybody. That little boy died a long time ago. So.
Sam! There is a theory that the pedophile community
Thank you, Sherry.
may have someone in it that committed these murders.
I know there's questions about whether the 4 children that were killed in Oakland County that we know of, did some of that happen on North Fox Island?
Welcome, Taylor. Now, this is a whole other story in itself, you guys. If anybody's familiar with North Fox Island, there's a horrible backstory to this island, and the person that owns it, I believe his name is Francis Sheldon, and he is known to be a registered SO, sorry, PEDO, and it just a bad story. And it was linked to this quickly because of the situations with the 2 boys specifically. So very, very bad situation here, guys. It just makes me nauseous even thinking about the things that went on. There was a ring of sorts, a child pornography ring that was involved with this island and stuff. Is just absolute disgusting, vile, horrible things. Okay, so understand that, which is understandably why they thought there could have been a possible link to this. So thank you so much, Cap. As always, brother, you're very much appreciated for the super chat. More than generous of you, my friend. God bless. And we appreciate you in the community, sir, very much.
I was actually writing the history. I published the first book. They came to South Fox Island in 1982, but I wanted to update it to include North Fox. And when I was almost through with that book, that's when the whole Sheldon pornography thing broke. So it was just a beginning story when I was trying to wrap up my book.
He had property on North Fox Island, and we accessed the information about him through the school teacher that was arrested by the detective sergeant in St. Clair. He would fly friends and males that were interested in interacting to his property on North Fox Island.
Really, what he bought it for and installed the land strip for was to run a child pornography operation there. And he had a private jet, and he'd fly kids from Charlevoix to the island and had a filming operation there and had, horrible, horrible things.
I grew up in Port Huron. We were pretty well off as far as a family went. That's why I went to St. Joe's, and yeah, it was good. It was a good childhood, actually.
I mean, I had heard about nuns, the old school Roman Catholic nuns. They don't play, and that's true. But learn discipline, and I liked it. We were poor, but we had uniforms. So this kid that I sat next to, his father's a judge, but we dressed the same. My mom was a maid, but we still dressed the same. So that part about it I liked.
I don't remember the name of the gym instructor before him, but he was a really good guy, and he left. And that's when Mr. Richards came.
Yeah, he would do the patting on the ass. The only gym teacher I ever had that would be in the locker room when we were taking showers.
Frank Sheldon was introduced to us as Mr. Richards' uncle. This is my Uncle Frank. So, oh, okay, well, this is Frank, and Frank owns the island and whatever, and we're, so.
Wealthy man. Anybody from that area knew, he was very prominent, wealthy, come from wealthy family, so on.
From what I understood, he went to a couple of the other boys and myself's parents and said, these guys did an exceptional job this year in gym class, and as a reward, we'd like to take them up to the island.
I remember just taking off, just like rock stars. I'm in a plane, I've never been in a plane before. I'm just a poor kid, lives in the projects. Got lucky enough to get a tuition to a Catholic school. Yeah, it was really cool.
It was exciting. From the moment the plane took off till we came back, everything we did on the island, myself, was great. The island was beautiful. It was a really cool place. And we go down, the water was like, it almost looked like the ocean, but it was freezing.
And I remember landing. I remember getting our stuff, getting our cabin, and within an hour, we were naked on the beach. That's just how it was. If you live on an island, this is how they do it. An island. So. Okay. Again, 11 years old, I'd assume I was protected. That's my gym teacher right there.
I started getting older, and I was thinking, wow, they used our innocence, and that sucks.
Right to the beach. Just leave your clothes, and you can bring a towel, put it in the beach, but the boys have to be naked, and that's just how it was.
So once again, they played on our trust.
But there's times we could just go, be boys, But they focused on me a lot, I noticed. Long blonde hair, blue-eyed, 11-year-old, The very first day we were there, and I had a sunburn, and Jerry Richards rubbed lotion on me everywhere. I remember him taking lotion and putting it on his hand here, and then just me laying on my stomach and just going between my cheeks, with his hand like that. And I felt very uncomfortable, but he assured me everything was okay, and this is what we're supposed to do. Again, I trusted him. Turn over, do the same thing, because you have to protect that. So every day he did that to me. Sheldon, he said the same thing too. This is how things are. This is my island. I own this island. Blah blah blah.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Kids are lucky.
Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Fortunate to be here, so basically just adhere to these rules. And this is how we are here, and they were naked as well.
There was a stump, and it was probably about the size around as this chair, maybe 4 or 5 feet long. And I remember there was snakes on the end of it. So I rolled it with the bottom ripped off of it, and there was literally thousands of snakes in this thing. I go back and I get Bill, and I said, you got to see these snakes. He said, I don't know really care for snakes. I said, well, come on, you got to see this. Is really, I wanted to show somebody.
There's cameras by the trail that we took. Mike and I would go, catch snakes and salamanders and just do what boys do. And there's cameras, a lot all over the place, really.
Well, when we got back, we couldn't find it. Usually there was somebody right around the main cabin, and there was nobody there. I want to say it was probably a couple hours. Then they came back, and they were happy, but the two boys were different after they were quiet.
I don't know if it's the exact same time, but I remember hearing one of the kids screaming and crying, like somebody was hurting him, and he was screaming and yelling, stop. And we didn't know what was going on, and we knew it was coming from a locked door. There's nothing we could do except for take off running. which is what we did. Now, I don't know if it's that same time, and I remember the tree trunk full of snakes because that was cool. Wow, we're 11, but we heard the kid crying. I think it was a kid that was a grade above us. Heard him screaming and crying. Stop. Yeah, I remember that very vividly. I don't think he really talked much. He didn't talk a lot before, but he didn't talk really at all after that.
They didn't talk anymore.
I think Mike was the lucky one. Just his natural curiosity to run and, and be a boy and look around, kept him safe, and I'm glad for him. I wasn't as fortunate.
It's like it didn't sink in as, wow, these kids went through an awful hell. And, until I started getting older and I was thinking, wow, they used our innocence, and that sucks.
He asked if I could put some lotion on him, and I was very hesitant, and I knew that I shouldn't do that. He said, well, I did you, and you should do that for me, that kind of thing. So I did. I knew it was wrong. It's hard to do. It's hard to describe. I felt shameful. I knew it was wrong, something I shouldn't have done. And I'm thinking, in my 11-year-old mind, I never had nothing to say at confession because we used to go to confession once a week. And I never had anything to say at confession because I never did anything wrong. This is definitely wrong. So I'm definitely going to have to tell the priest this. So I felt bad. Should I say it? And they got you thinking, you have to confess, your sins in order to be forgiven. This is how we were taught. So I think my biggest worry was if I should tell the priest, or should I tell my mom? I should keep it to myself. They said, I'm going to get in trouble, but am I getting in trouble if I tell it to the priest? So a lot of mixed emotions. It was a really messed up time, I guess. Yeah. I went back in my 20s to look for him. I was telling my wife this story, and she said, did you ever find him? And I said, I'm telling you the story. No, I didn't, because I would have killed him. So then I went looking for his grave. Never could find that either. So just kind of been buried for a long time.
I don't know that there's a real strong connection between what was going on Fox Island and our kids.
A theory becomes a narrative, and the narrative then becomes the story. For example, the gremlin. The gremlin.
Blue gremlin.
Blue gremlin.
A gremlin.
Gremlin.
Blue gremlin.
Blue gremlins.
He was wearing a rust-colored sport jacket with dark pants. He's soft-spoken. We believe that he's driving a late model blue gremlin with white wall tires.
The gremlin took off from there because they had an actual eyewitness who saw Tim standing next to a gremlin. Certainly in the height of hysteria, with so little to go on, I can see why it would.
I recall as late as July 1, 1978, the standard ad, $100,000, had only a blue gremlin on it.
A sketch was disseminated around the public that people my age remember very clearly. A man, a white male in his 30s with dark hair and long sideburns, who was connected to a blue AMC gremlin. That was the image that was passed around in thousands of flyers all around our region.
I said, look, you guys stop the cars. If you, I'll take the heat. Because you normally have to have a probable cause to make a stop. I said, if you see a car that looks suspicious, go ahead, stop it, and search it. And if there's any, backlash because of the Fourth Amendment protections, I'll stand for it.
Brooks actually suspended the Fourth Amendment in Oakland County while this investigation was going on. If you drove a gremlin in Oakland County, You're getting pulled over and the car was getting searched. What a gross waste of resources, quite honestly. And to this day, it is felt that it is the gremlin that is involved in this.
We stopped cars all over Oakland County for the next couple of days. Very little probable cause, if any. Not one motorist complained. They wanted to help. Sure, open the truck.
If you saw a blue gremlin driving in your neighborhood, you called the police.
The King family's always believed the blue gremlin was a bad lead.
The gremlin was the biggest red herring ever in the case.
No, it was not a blue gremlin.
The blue gremlin matter ought to be thrown out.
Investigators traveled 1,200 miles to...
And it's believed that that gremlin, you heard them say red herring, everybody within that group there said no. And it's believed that that's where the cover-up may have come into play, that was produced and put in the case to distract people from something else. In turn, the Christopher Bush. Okay. And it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that gremlin had absolutely nothing to do with the case. In turn, like he said, do you know how back in those days, how many of those you would see? It was a normal thing to see those. So everybody's looking for this car instead of looking over here. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So yeah, absolutely. That's where they believe that like I said, the cover-up may have started to come into play per se, if there is one.
To Recluse, Wyoming, to exhume Nordberg's body in a long-shot attempt to match his DNA to a hair found on one of the 4 victims.
In 1979, the state police assigned one detective to follow up any future leads on the case, but that was it.
Inside the styrofoam cooler is hair and bone samples of suspect David Nordberg. Investigators traveled 1,200 miles to Recluse, Wyoming, to exhume Nordberg's body in a long-shot attempt to match his DNA to a hair found on one of the 4 victims.
It might very well not be the right guy, but he's a suspect. We have DNA, and you just have to come out and do this. How can you just not do it? How do you ignore it?
As the workers dig, investigators stand guard. They know that this may be their best and final chance to solve the case of the Oakland County child killer. From this Wyoming graveyard, the evidence goes to a Michigan crime lab for extensive testing.
Well, the success of this operation will be measured by the ability of the appropriate labs to do the testing and hopefully the matching.
Brooks Patterson was the prosecuting attorney at the time of the killings. He says closure would mean everything to the families of the young victims.
We exhumed the body of a suspect and cut off some of his skin and so forth. And then compared the two, and it didn't match, but that's how far we went.
In 2005, when it was reactivated, when I arrested Lawson.
Police are not revealing the name of the mystery man from Ohio, but do say Lawson has led them to Detroit's Cass Corridor.
Mr. Lawson has given us information in the past, which took my partners and I down to the Cass Corridor. We've done extensive investigations down there.
Lawson claims there may be other victims, Detroit children who were never linked to the case.
So they were using Lawson in the neighborhoods to try and identify the Oakland County child killer. And so Lawson started telling me about these things and about his theories and who was involved in the child killing.
He had a lot of information, a lot of really good information. And he talked about Sheldon and he talked about Gerald Richards, and so he knew a lot.
As police escorted Lawson out of the courthouse, we asked him the critical question. Do you know who the Oakland County child killer is?
Yes, I believe I do. Who is it? No.
Is it Mr. Lamborghini?
I tell you what, if you gentlemen want to meet with me privately, and what I like to do is cut a little deal. What's wrong with now?
Lawson is feeding me information. It's prior to trial on the murder case, and he's talking about not about his murder, but about the Oakland County child killings. He said that Lawson was at Bob Moore's apartment one time with Ted Orr and Bob Moore had a photo album on his coffee table, with pictures of kids in it. And Lawson claimed that Ted Orr picked up the photo album, opened to a certain page, and showed it to Bob Moore and said, "Does that not look like the King Boy?"
I would also like to produce to Your Honor a statement by the prosecutor saying that all the information that I gave him pertaining to this would never be used against me in the court of law.
I'm listening to him, and over several conversations, I said,
Beyond
"You sure?"
creepy,
I couldn't
Michelle.
find a Ted Orr anywhere in Detroit. I said, "You sure his name's Ted Orr?" And Lawson finally told me, I think his real last name starts with L-A-M, Ted Lamb something.
Is that your present address?
Well, the jail is, but my last residence before jail was that, Your Honor.
The Wayne County prosecutor says Lamborghini, along with Richard Lawson, would lure young victims in the Cass corridor with drugs, food, and cash and sexually attack them.
Mr. Lamborghini is a suspect in the Oakland County child killer case. Mr. Lamborghini is our...
So this is the gentleman you were talking about, Alicia, as being like who you thought could have been involved, right? Besides Christopher Bush, because I didn't see a lot on Lamborghini until after the fact when I read the articles on it. But it does make some sense. And it's the strange thing is every one of these suspects that they had some form of a link to these murders. It's very strange how they can have a handful of suspects, 5 to 6 different suspects that have some link to this. And they couldn't have all done it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they did, that's insane, but I could put this on 2 people max, not a handful of people. It's so weird to me. This one really split my brain open on this. I mean, that's why I brought this one to you guys. I've been working and looking at this for a little while, and I bounced some other ones around it, trying to find more on it, and there wasn't. But yeah, this is a definite mind splitter. So I think a couple of them did, Michelle, like those 2 per se, but not regularly. No, and it's weird. That's the other side of it that was strange. But in the end, as probably Alicia would probably agree, I always turn around and head back to Christopher Bush. I don't know why. There's just something about that one that I can't let go of. And James Vincent Gunnell's because of the mitochondrial DNA match. That was the other one that really caught my attention too, because you can't really lie about that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This one's really got my head twisted. It's wild. It really is.
most promising suspect at this particular time.
Mr. Lamborghini, what do you want to tell the judge in Detroit?
Ted not only didn't cooperate and not only turned down this offer, but he did something very unusual. He pled guilty straight up to all 17 counts, including 3 life felonies without saying a word, which to all of us, we felt it was sort of telling.
And with him, he would not. He refused. With all of that, like you said, he just explained to you that they gave him a deal. They were going to give him a deal. Okay, 3 life sentences he would have held for some of these charges. He had the good God, I can't think of what that word is. The child pornography charges. Okay, we'll say that. And would not admit to these murders to get out of anything. He just wouldn't do it. Swore up and down he had nothing to do with that, period, and refuses. You know, some people are like, well, shit, I'll do whatever I can do to get out of this. 3 life terms, you guys. You'd think somebody would admit to that to flip this, maybe. He refused, absolutely refused to have anything to do with those murders, which says kind of a lot in a sense, based on what you know about that. Oh, right, exactly, Michelle. That's why I couldn't not look at that one. It blew my mind. Yeah, Cap, it is a lot like that. So again, knowing that Ted did not cop to that at all, he refused it in every aspect, every direction they went with him to try to get him to cop to this. He wouldn't do it. So that says a lot to me. It really does. If you can avoid 3 life sentences to get something different, possibly, maybe, 25 to life or something, which would give you the possibility of parole. Nope. He refused to do it, would not do it. So that said a lot to me in that sense. I did not believe it was him at some point. Now, originally, yeah, possibly, until I heard that part. So. What do you think so far?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, at least they caught him. That's a good point. Yes, yes.
He was a pedophile and he had done a lot of things, and I think this group, they knew it, and they held that over his head. You know, if you come forward with any of this stuff, we're going to lay it out and you'll be in prison for life. And I mean, this is 1975, and Ted Lamborghini was a free man. He was a free man until 2014 or so. So for 40 years, he went about his business because these people didn't reveal what he'd been doing. Well, at that point, it became, the old victims came forward. Now he's in prison for life, but he had 40 years of freedom that he wouldn't have had.
Getting away with murder. That's what several cold-blooded killers thought they had accomplished. Now, decades after the crime, they're suddenly being locked up.
Now, this next up is going to show you the mass amount of suspects they had in this case, you guys, coming up. And I still can't get past how many suspects they had, which, again, I think Alicia can agree on this, too. And I keep going to Alicia because she knows a lot about this. She's from the Michigan area, so on and so forth. But, and she obviously is, made statements here stating what she knows. But with all the evidence they had, with the massive amount of suspects that were listed, that they still could not solve this. That blows my mind. It really does, which takes you back around that turn again to the cover-up side of it, which is what led me back to Christopher Bush in every aspect, because he's the only person within all of this, except for the gentleman that was in prison during this, that you'll find out, that had the ability to get out of this, in my opinion, as far as Daddy's money. And like I said earlier, I think Daddy, being who he was, and I agree with Alicia too on that, and what Critical said earlier, they basically, in essence, probably solved this. They can't do anything with it, though, which is really shitty to me, because it would give closure to the families. It would give closure to the legacy of the victims and some respect to them that they deserve. Do you know what I mean? And it's just shitty. It's really shitty, you guys, because once again, I think Daddy knew what his little baby boy was doing, and because of who he was, and that's why, made me wonder if that's why everything stopped. He threatened him and said, you're going to stop this now, or I will turn you in, or something like that, or cut you off, or whatever the hell it was. But that's what shut this down, and that's how he got away with this, in my opinion. It's ridiculous, because who else out of the handful of suspects we're about to probably see here had the ability to do that? None of them. But this one guy here. Right. Exactly, Elisa. Exactly.
It bothered some of my children more than others, and me. We had various reactions to it.
Now armed with new information, King says he believes he's cracked this case wide open himself. The Birmingham attorney now revealing he believes the guy in this mugshot, Christopher Bush, a known pedophile who was convicted several times of sexually assaulting children in 1977, is the Oakland County child killer.
He paid a lot of money to get this information, which has been through him, much of it put out into the public domain, and it's very helpful.
And it's interesting, once they got the Chris Bush name and Corey starts looking through the files, just this avalanche of evidence came. He'd been arrested and convicted 4 times of,
And that's why they paid so much money to get the information. It was all buried, you guys. His past, his history, with the essays that he had assaulted other people and been convicted of, and all these things was all buried. Nobody knew about it. They had to go pay an assload of money to be able to get this information pulled forth. Okay, when they opened it up, like she just said, it was like, whoa. Same as it hit me too when I read about it. I was like, holy shit, there it is. You know what I mean? But again, out of all the suspects, nobody had the ability to do something like that except for this guy because of his dad's money. Hide everything, put it all out there, put it all away so nobody knows who you are, what you did, and this and that and everything else. And in turn, here we sit today talking about this like this. It's just really sad to me, and it's a shame that money does the things it does. Greed and the ability to hand somebody $100 bill and say that didn't happen. It's obviously more than $100, but you see what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That didn't happen, and it goes away. And that includes people within the judicial system, the law enforcement systems. Money makes the world go round, very sadly, and this is where we end up at in situations like this. And it's disgusting to me. It really is.
Sex with minors and got off on each charge.
I didn't think Chris Bush was probably capable of the abductions and the killings themselves. I mean, he was just a slob in and of himself, and I didn't think was probably articulate and crafty enough, if you will, to pull this off. But to be someone's fall guy and be part of the bigger picture, absolutely. And likewise, Greg Green, he had a record a mile long. And here, I think he was in Michigan, but yet California was trying to bring him back there for crimes that had been committed.
He takes a polygraph and he passed.
That was the one who asked me that earlier. I couldn't remember which two went together, but thank you, Alicia. The James Vincent Gunnell was friends with Christopher Bush. So he used his vehicle often, who's therefore the mitochondrial DNA match. There you go. Okay. There you go, right there. That's all it takes. So thank you for that. I couldn't remember if it was Gunnell or if it was the who was the other guy? Anyway, there was two of them that I got confused for when I first looked at this. So thank you. Hey, Charlotte, welcome. Good to see you. No worries at all. But thank you again, Alicia. Amazing stuff. Told you guys, if it weren't for this blue crew, I couldn't do this right.
Passes the polygraph. And Greg Green passed the polygraph too. And for some reason, he gets deals all over the state, while Greg Green, for the same charge, goes to prison for life.
He was the son of a prominent General Motors executive. Mr. Bush was a vice president in General Motors. His connections and his power in the community helped get his son off the hook.
He had supposedly committed suicide, and then within the same documents that I requested, states that the task force was disbanded within like 3 days of his supposed suicide. So I remember thinking at that point, that's total bullshit.
Right. And when they looked at Gunnell's, thank you again. When they looked at Gunnell's was a victim of Bush as well, supposedly. That's how the story was told. And that they looked at him as being a victim of Bush. In turn, you know how that can rotate around, where sometimes victims do these things too. That's how they were looking at Gunnell's with this. But then again, think about, like Alicia said a few minutes ago, if he was in the car, if he used the car, there it is. I still, like I said, you'll hear this. You hear this, that Christopher Bush committed suicide, supposedly. Okay. They found him with a gunshot wound. They believe was self-inflicted, so on and so forth. Who knows? I don't know for a fact. But anyway, that was the story with James Vincent Gunnell's. Okay. And that So think about that. That's why they were looking at that. And I think that that was, again, part of what I'm going to call the cover up side of this. It's so sad. Let's put it on this kid who was once again a victim of the situation, because that makes more sense than this guy. Let's hide him again. You know, daddy's money once again, and influence. It's just sickening to me. Absolutely sickening. Makes me nauseous thinking about it. But they also found bloody ligatures and drawing. Yes, they did. Well, that was coming up, but either way, she's right. It's coming up. Bloody ligatures, drawings of a victim in his room. 100%. This is very true. So once again, wouldn't somebody know what he may or may not have done? Are you talking about Green or Bush? Oh, no. Don't apologize. We work together in here, Lisa. You're amazing today. I appreciate that every bit of what you're doing. It helps me in every aspect. So yeah, Bush. Well, not really, because everything that he's done, as you heard, his file was buried, and I mean buried, okay? Because his father knew very, very high up people within law enforcement and within the judicial system and got off on all these things. Cases were tossed out. Sexual assault cases were thrown away. Every one of them, just about, okay? Then they buried his name within the system for the charges that he had. And that's what what Alicia was, I was getting ready to say the same thing. I think that his father knew what he did. What other reason would you do that for? If you didn't know what your child did, you're trying to save your child, and not to mention, I think it was more his own doing for himself. Because think about this: you're a General Motors executive, very high VP, vice president, I believe it was, of General Motors at the time. So if it comes out in the news that your son did this, how's that going to make you look? Okay, which is why I think he did it more for himself than for his child. This was kind of, here we go again, Junior's ruining dad's name, you know, and it was also theorized in one of the very short article that I read. I don't know that I believe this, but it was theorized that because of what Bush continuously did and kept getting away with, and daddy had to keep burying this and keep paying this off and paying that off, that it's believed by certain people that his father shot him because he wouldn't stop. Now, I know that sounds insane, and there's nothing that puts that down in black and white as being factual at all. It's been more looked at as like I said, self-inflicted stuff. But there's a tiny little community of people that believe that his father took him out to stop him from doing the things he was doing, because he just couldn't continuously keep burying these things and hiding these things, and it was making him look bad. So I don't think I believe that myself personally, but I think that his dad may have finally said to him at some point, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to protect you anymore. And that he took his own life because he knew he was going to go down for this eventually at some point. That's what I think truly happened. There were questions of whether or not he actually did it. Yeah. That's why that came to the surface that way, is that there was two theories that were looked at. One, that his father took him out to shut him down. And one was that, well, actually there was more than one. There was more than two. There was 3 or 4, I think. That the two main ones, though, were that his father may have done it besides him doing it to himself, and that somebody from one of the families of the victims had this done. And the other one was that basically they were, what do you call those, mama bear? Somebody that comes and takes the law into their own hands.
Vigilante.
Vigilante people that knew about Christopher Bush, and that was the next one coming up. Yeah. And the vigilante justice, and took care of him. Or the very last one, which is the one that you don't talk about it, that law enforcement knew that he did it. They couldn't get to him, and they handled it themselves, which kind of flows into that whole vigilante justice thing. You know what I mean? And that's what my thought was too, is that maybe his father was done with this, trying to bury everything, trying to hide everything, was tired of his name being ruined, and was going to turn him in, and he did it to himself. That's the main theory on it. So I don't know, but there was, like I said, 3 or 4 to 5 different theories on this, and those were all what they were with his suicide. without going down a rabbit hole, I could see either him doing it to himself because he knew that he was going to get caught and he was such a piece of garbage that he knew he couldn't handle jail. So he did it to himself. Or that or vigilante justice are the ones that make the most sense to me, truly. I can't imagine his father doing it to him. But I could be wrong. Who knows? So there's that little piece of info for that too.
So this person offs himself supposedly, and then all of a sudden the task force had gone to his home where the incident had happened, and then a couple of days later they disbanded.
He was found shot in his bedroom in his house.
Now, do you see how that matches up with the task force? That's where the whole LE scenario came into effect. And then they disbanded after that. Think about it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why I lean towards either he did it or it was that one. Because that truly does make some sense to me. Because they couldn't get him. And he was repeatedly committing these crimes. And the more he got away with it, the more he kept on going with it. So how do you stop somebody like that? You know what I mean? Freddy Krueger justice. Basically, in a sense. Who knows? Maybe a parent got wind of what happened, did it themselves, which again was one of my theories, possibly too. But I think, yeah, he was a big time coward. I think it was the latter of the two, because the way that it went down, I think it had something to do with the ballistics and stuff. The way they found him didn't match up, and then, like they just told you, the task force goes to his house to deal with the situation, and they find him dead, and then they disband. Therefore, shortly thereafter. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? It does kind of make some sense. So I'm not complaining. Somebody like this, I know that the law is in effect for a reason, but if somebody is living above the law and you can't get to them, what else is there to do, you guys? You can't allow somebody to stay in society that's going to continuously commit these crimes, hurting our children and other people. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. They got their guy in essence, so they didn't need a task force anymore. And guess what? Weirdly, even after that, no more crimes were committed. Take it for whatever you take it for. Just saying.
On the wall of his bedroom was his pencil drawing. It's a young boy screaming.
When I first saw that, I'm like, yeah, that looks exactly like my brother being sodomized.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
I apologize for all the trigger warnings today, guys, but this is a rough one. There's a lot of touchy subjects here, and a lot of these things will trigger people very easily. So I just want to make sure everybody's warned.
Ever make a declaration that someone who is not living is guilty of something. I don't make declarations of guilt. When I was a judge, I could make declarations if the case was tried in front of me. But the only person who can determine that someone is guilty is a judge or a jury upon a complaint and warrant that's brought in a court of law. And I tell you that because as much as there are people who say, just tell me he did it, I cannot legally do that.
Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Finally, a break in the case that's had investigators baffled for 36 years. A stunning new development today in the Oakland County child killer investigation.
Those hairs recovered from the boys' bodies have the same mtDNA profile as the hair recovered from the 1966 Pontiac Bonneville.
And now the search is on for this new suspect.
Investigators say this man is a direct link to the suspect, but they still need help finding the killer.
They still don't have enough evidence to indicate that this guy Sloan's involved, but they believe
that there's a distinct possibility.
They had pulled a hair off of Chris's blouse, and I think then that was part of the relationship.
But I thought Sloan was a good lead, and I would, my family encouraged follow up on it. But nothing's been turned over to us to indicate that any of that stuff was true.
The theory was that Christopher Bush knew Mr. Gunnels. Mr. Gunnels was being used as a lure to bring Timothy King into the car, and that's how he was abducted.
When we approach Gunnels, we tell him we're from Local 4 News and are surprised when he opens up and starts talking.
My heart goes out to those families, brother. It really, really, really does. I don't feel that they were served justice through any of this.
So let's make it clear. This hair that Mr. King is talked about, Christopher Bush is excluded. He is not a contributor. Mr. Gunnels could be, but the statistical odds are about 1 in 150, which when you expand that out to all the population of Michigan at the time is hundreds of thousands of people.
Every time, whether it was Lamborghini or Norberg or Bush or Sloan, the family, you want to talk about pain, that's what we do. And so you try and be as circumspect as you possibly can, because you're hurting. It hurts. The pain is never going to go away. And when you're talking about the investigation, it becomes even rawer. And so you can see what's happened to some of the individuals who respond to this type of pain differently.
Mr. King seems to think that the authorities are covering something up and that maybe they have some sort of answer that we should know about. I'm not willing to go that far. I hope Mr. King lives long enough, though, to see this case solved.
My family's not very confident about it, but I feel
exactly
even worse not knowing the answer.
Hey, Brad guy.
The people who looked into it after 40 years won't talk about it.
They deserve that. Yeah, I hope it's solved for his sake. Somebody can go and tell him.
Denise Powell and Becky MacArthur from the state police, Sean Callahan and Brooke Glennon from the FBI, our whole team of investigators from our office, Kim Worthy and Rob Moran, have done so much work, and it's been blood, sweat, and tears to advance this case. We're all disappointed we haven't solved it yet, but I'm telling you right now, this case can be solved, and I believe it will be.
And that's where it is. The Detroit Public Library did a series on this. They dug pretty deep, and it's the same. Like, this is where it left off, okay? This video was put out in 2019. And I'm telling you guys, it's crazy. As you saw, how much evidence they had, even to the very, very end. The very end. And there's still been no arrests on this, or no charges put forth, whether the person's alive or not. And it's insane to me, with, like I said, witness testimony, vehicle descriptions, DNA evidence per se. At this point, they have possible DNA evidence, and they still can't do anything. It's unbelievably sad to me that the families, like Alicia said, that they've been through all of this with nothing. You know, Mr. King passed away, sadly, but devoted every moment of every day of the rest of his life to finding an answer to this, and got nothing out of it. It sickens me. Like I said, my theory goes right along with Alicia's, and probably a lot of law enforcement's, is that it's Christopher Bush and Mr. Gunnels probably worked together in essence for this. But most of this goes back to Christopher Bush. That was completely covered up, in my opinion. Okay. I don't have the answer. I wish I could, just flat out say, hey, this is what it is, hand it to them, and they can give these families closure, but nobody does. It's very sad. It's very sad. Will it ever be solved? At this point, I really don't think so. You know what I mean? People that are involved in this have died off. They're dying off every little by little by little by little. At some point, nobody's going to be left. So, any thoughts on this, Mama Bear, at this point?
Not really. I agree. I don't think it'll be solved at this point. I mean, 50 years, but
Yeah.
a
I think
part
there's
of me hopes that they will, at least, even if the person's the bad guy is,
yeah.
you know, dead or whatever. I still
Right.
hope they get answers. And
Right.
it's
And
closed.
with what I'm right on point with what Alicia said too, that they may have worked together, but I think Ganells was forced into doing what he did. I don't think that he did it by choice. And I think that was part of the picture. That was by design that was done to once again keep Bush out of the picture. He did what he did. And that's sad to me. You know, it really is. It's a very interesting case. Very sad. And again, I brought this one out because it's so old. Not that it's going to change anything, but at least it's being talked about still. Do you know what I'm saying? It's still being talked about because you can't allow these cases to just sit like this. Eventually, it's going to probably completely evaporate and there'll be nothing left of it. I don't want to see that happen, but I do believe it's possible. Let me see here. That is... There are no new updates on this. Like I said, I believe that it's solved, but there's nothing they can do about it. Like Alicia was saying too, and I think even Critical stated, because Critical thought it was solved, and it basically is, but they can't do anything. You know, Christopher Bush is deceased, so, but you know, they actually put a doc about, yeah. There is a documentary on it. I couldn't show it on here, but there is one. And it basically says the same thing. It showed me the documentary on here. Is it Hulu? The one I have listed is from, it doesn't say, but I can't show it on here. Yeah, at some point, let me see. I think 11 years ago, they did a dig where they unearthed a car that they thought could have a possible connection to it. Nothing came from it. Again, as you saw, they tried to link this to North Fox Island. Nothing happened. There's so much. 12 years ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago, they had all these things pop up, but then everything locked out from there. They thought that, you know, Mr. Gunnell was probably their new lead, but again, think about how old he was when this happened. And like Alicia said too, that it's very possible that he was forced to do everything if they worked together. So now they also said, there was another article that I read on this that, as I had stated and Alicia stated as well, about the gremlin being a red herring. Yeah, it was believed that happened because there's another article that claims that they focused on the wrong car for like 30 years. That was done by design as well, I believe. It's sad. Very sad. There's a couple lawsuits that are out now against Oakland County that are just floating. There's a book that was written on this and still nothing. It's a very, very sad unsolved case. And there's many of these cases, you guys, believe it or not. They even tried to put this, throw this in the direction of John Wayne Gacy. Believe that or not. So I don't know what to think on it. I have my thoughts, and like I said, I don't think nothing's going to happen from it. But if nothing else, we're talking about it again, if nothing else. And maybe something will happen. Maybe they'll be able to do something. Hunter's Moon, welcome. Good to see you. Cold cases wrapped up at lunch, electric blanket. There you go. What's better than that? What was my favorite case to discuss? Oh, Lord. As far as cold cases or just cases in general? What's your favorite case to discuss, Mom Bear? I can't think because I got quite a few of them.
Mine would probably be the Doherty case. That'll always be.
I was going to say that too.
Until it's solved, it'll be. I need to go back to it.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with her. That's probably definitely at the top 3, Michelle, because the Sean Doherty case, because it's so absolutely ridiculous. The outcome that they have given everybody on that one, it's just stupid. It's ridiculous. It makes 0 sense. And people are asked to accept that. You know what I mean? So, which one sticks out in my mind in general? Probably that one. And that the Sean Doherty case, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Is about it was 12, right, Mama Bear? Or how old was Sean? Was he 12?
That sounds right.
Yeah, he was 12 years old. And the end result to that one was that they claimed that he took his own life by hanging himself on a swing set. And his hands were strapped to his side with a belt so tight that it cut the circulation off to his body. He was barefoot when they found him, hanging by a string here, not here, but here, wearing his stepfather's clothes. And they said he took his own life. No, he didn't. Okay. And the fact that both of his parents worked for the government, it's obvious to me, at least, and I think Mom Bear agrees on this one, if I'm right, that it was some sort of a message being sent. Okay. And it's obvious he didn't take his own life. And that, again, is just where it was left there. Nobody's touched it since. And it's very sad to me. That's probably the one that sticks out the most in my mind. BTK, gotcha. Yeah, me too, Alicia. And Mama Bear as well, I know. I'll probably always go back to that case until something changes. And that's the sad part, is nothing has changed, upgraded, or anything since it ended. Is it considered closed or open, Mama Bear? Do you remember? I thought it was left open. But
I think it's open. They've got a private investigator, and I believe the FBI might actually be involved now.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. That's another one, Brian. See, that's why I said that's hard, Michelle. The Deborah Collier case, there's no way in hell that happened the way that they claimed that it did. That chief of police is a complete idiot. Okay. And no way in hell that Deborah Collier passed away the way that they said she did. No way. Yeah, that's a good point too, Alicia. Diane Downs, I remember that one. Shanika Jenkins is another wild one. Yes, of course, Green River Killer. And didn't something happen with the mom's job in that one? She worked at the Pentagon. Yes, she was going. They were getting ready to move because of her job at the Pentagon. Very soon there, before the crime happened. Yeah. Robert Lee Yates. Gotcha. There's a lot. It's very hard to pinpoint one, because especially if you have a passion for this stuff, you can't just pinpoint one 100%. But that one is very, very touchy with me and Mama Bear, and has been for a long time. Deborah Collier, like I said, of course, Summer Wells, and Sebastian Rogers. These are very touchy ones for me. Ellen Greenberg, another one that I cannot let go of. But there's luckily been some action in that, thank the Lord. What about yeah, Summers is one that's really has me floored too. Which one would you say is yours, Michelle, if any? A lot of us were brought here. Well, a lot of people that have come to YouTube are here because of a specific case. There's our tomboy. Ted Bundy, and oh yeah, I'm sure. Or Zodiac, Zodiac, the Zodiac killer cases. Those are, I think there's more to that than what there was to begin with anyway. Who was the kid on the ranch? I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. Yeah. Sebastian's case is still, that one burns me. Yeah, Zodiacs will make your head spin. Definitely. I thought about doing Zodiacs too, but there's so much to it. I may still do it. Kelly Rodney, yep. Good one, Charlotte. That's another one that got my attention and always has. Dylan Rounds, I think that Miss Sherry, that's probably, yeah. That one was a big one. Also, Daniel Robinson. Lord. There's so many of them, you guys. So many of them. They slipped up and got caught. I want to know. Her Baumeister. Oh, yeah. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time. Well, that says a lot about who we are, Brian. This is what we do. We've always obviously had an interest in this. Like I said, a lot of us were brought here for specific reasons, and got involved in this for specific reasons. And here we sit, Gabby Petito. That one was a grueler. John Benet Ramsey. What's her name? There's so many of them, you guys. So many of it. It would take me days to name off all the ones. There's a lot of local ones to me. Charlotte Nagy Polis. That was another one that's still unsolved here that I can't. That happened in the area I grew up in. I haven't even seen that. I don't pay any attention to that stuff, bud. Like to try and exercise my brain with other. Absolutely. It's what it's all about, Michelle. I love that you want to do that too, because we do that a lot in here. We have a lot of think tanks that we get involved in with certain cases when we talk about them, and we just start bouncing things all over the place. Actually, Maura Murray is one of the very top 3 for me as well. Maura Murray's case, I can't get away from that one. That still fumbles my brain like crazy. So that's probably definitely in the top 3. Sean Doherty's, Maura Murray's, and at this moment right now, I'm gonna have to say Sebastian's is number 1. The Eastbound Strangler, yep. No, I know, Brian. I know it bothers you. I couldn't help myself because of my son. You know what I mean? It got very close to my heart. Maura's is way at the very top for me. Always has been. Yeah, exactly. And thank God they caught the creature from hell that committed Madeline's case situation. But if they wouldn't have, that would have been a disaster in my mind as well. Harmony Montgomery was another one. Yes. Not feeling much better, but hopefully new meds I got today will start helping. I hope so. I do. I hope so. Absolutely hope so, Tomboy. Green River one was another one. And what was his name? Down in Florida. Shit. Samuel Little, American serial killer, was convicted of 8 murders, confessed to committing 93 murders from 70. Holy shit. I've heard the Samuel Little name, but I've never really looked into them. That's wild. My son is on the spectrum, and when Sebastian went missing, it was like I for some reason it squeezed my mind and my heart because it reminded me of my son if my son were to go missing. Because there's a lot of coincidental things that Sebastian and my son had in common, and it just really pulled on my heartstrings with that one. So I got very involved quickly with that one. Now, the reason why I ended up in true crime, period, was because a very close friend of mine, when we were young, 12 years old, was horribly, horribly murdered, sodomized, dismembered, lit on fire, multiple things. And that's what grew my curiosity in crime as I got older. Iron Horman, Ryan Larson. There's so many cases it's hard to pin one, you know what I mean? But there are a few that are really, really like stuck to me. Gainesville Ripper, that was the one, Brian. Yeah. Welcome, CZ. Gone again and staunch. Yes. Kyron is like more bothers me. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I do believe that the answer to that one is Terry Horman, in my opinion. We just talked about that yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot of them, you guys, and that says a lot. It says a whole lot because of the ones that we can throw out there right away. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a hard thing to deal with. Very hard thing. And the person that committed the crime on my friend is still sitting on death row 40 years later. A little less than 40 years later. That's what really gets my goat with this one. So that's what piqued my interest in this kind of stuff that early on in my life. You know what I mean? Summer's very rough. Very rough. Oh, yes. Yes, exactly, Lisa, exactly. Quentin Simon was very difficult for a lot of us. Very, very. And the one that we covered the trial over winter here, we just covered that trial with Doodlebug. I can't think of her name. Megan Boswell. That one was pretty rough to deal with too. It is under and over it. It's beyond infuriating. It really is. It's heartbreaking. Mine happened in 1985, 84. That's how long it's been. Yeah, that was something I was thinking about doing as a series, Cap. Elijah Vu. That's heartbreaking, Sherry. That was heartbreaking. But if I were to do the Zodiac, it would be over a period of a few streams because it's very interesting and there's a lot to it. And there's still no answers. Years and years and years later, it's crazy. So yeah. So if we do Zodiac, it's going to be a series that we're going to cover. And I'm really thinking on it because I do have a high interest in that situation too. Yeah, Elijah Vu was completely heartbreaking. I remember when Wisdom Speaks brought that to my attention the first time, I couldn't believe it. I was kind of with Alicia on that. I covered it as much as I could, and then when it got quiet, I backed away from it because it was just really so heartbreaking because he was such a beautiful little guy, and none of what happened to him deserved to happen in any way, shape, or form. It's just ridiculous bullshit to me. Absolutely. I believe that too, Critical. I always have because of the way that everything went down, because of the fact that nobody could figure it out. You know what I mean? I always thought that it was definitely law enforcement involvement. What's happening, Metalhead? Scott Metalhead in the house. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us last night again and today. Great to see you, sir. I hope you enjoyed yourself a bit last night. Is something going on with Quentin's mom? Jesse from the bar had it on a couple days ago. Just wondered. Really? Is she really? Don't tell me she's trying to. I can't stand her. Anything about her. There's another one I was going to bring up too that there was really no answer to. If you guys remember the other than something to do with the landfill, I don't think there was anything new. No, I don't think there is that I've seen. Unless they were just reviewing that or something, maybe. She was a puke. Is a puke. Oh, no worries, bro. No worries at all. I appreciate you being here. Gabriel Fernandez, I can barely even talk about that one under and over it. That one, like, if you noticed, I've never brought that up on this channel. I have a rough time with that one. Really rough time. That is very true, Alicia, because sometimes some of these cases, plus some people go through things that sets limits for them that they may not even realize. And you got to back yourself off at some point. Your emotions control most of what you do. When you feel your emotions start to detach from you, you have to stop. I learned that the hard way. You have to stop. Otherwise, it will put you in a place you don't want to be. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Alicia. Oh, are they running that tomorrow? We can definitely look into it. See what's going on with it for sure. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's our variety day. So yeah, we can put that up for the morning show, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Watching Quentin's trial really kind of busted me too. I was very angry through the whole thing. That's another one that I have a bit of an obsession with right now is the Ladybird Lake murders. I'm going to call them. Police say they're accidents. I don't believe they are. You absolutely, Wisdom. You have to protect your peace. That's facts. And if you don't, it'll tear you apart piece by piece. It's amazing. This is why I love this community so much, because the people in this community have the same. We all have the same passion in different variations for different, you know what I mean, in different ways. And I think it's amazing. That's why this community is very special as far as I'm concerned, as compared to a lot of other communities on YouTube that I've seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm partial to you guys. I'm just saying a lot of the people in this community have a very special attachment to a lot of these cases and passion for truth and justice, of course, and why everybody here kind of melds together so well. I think I'm very, very proud of this community for that. Oh, what is this we have here? Is today your birthday? Under and over it. Let's be honest here. Oh my goodness. Uh-huh. Hang on one moment, guys. Thank you to my blue crew for drawing my attention to that. One moment. All right, under and over it. We do something here in this community. If I know it's your birthday, you're going to know it's your birthday. And so is everybody else in the community, because that's a special day for me, because you were created on that day. And if you weren't created, you wouldn't be part of this amazing community. So we celebrate here. So everybody, please make sure to let under and over it know to have an amazing birthday. Please and thank you. I hope you have a great birthday. So you get this and you get a cake. That's what I give everybody in here. So here you go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. Ting pong.
One moment for your cake. All right, here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
You wish and blow them candles out. All right, I hope you have an amazing day today, under and over it, and an amazing, even more amazing year leading up to when we can do this again. I hope. God bless, and thank you for being part of this family and this community. We absolutely appreciate you so very much. To make sure everybody says under and over, tells under and over it the happiest birthdays at all that you can have. And that is what we do here in this community. I celebrate everybody's birthdays that I can, as long as I know about it. A lot of people hide it from me, but I have my ways. You are absolutely welcome, dear. Absolutely. Are you back yet, Mama Bear? When was yours, Alicia? And if I didn't do it, it's because I didn't know about it, or forgot about it because nobody reminded me. Because I'm good at forgetting things, especially short term. Just reworded the hometown of. That's funny. Shut up, Brian. We'll figure him out. We'll figure him out. We'll figure it out, Alicia. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. You probably did it on purpose. I know. That's okay. What I'm going to start doing for the people that try to skip out on their birthday, I'll figure it out and I'll do it anyway. It'll slip out sooner or later. Exactly. See? Never skipped a day in school. Well, that's good, Brian. What the hell is this? This is cute. Oh, let's see. Get a little laugh in here today and see what we got. This is too funny. I guess we found videos of Molly on having a bad day. Here we go. Danger zone. What's happening, Dan? Good to see you, brother. Jesus. Gonna end it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh no!
His eyes are watering. Oh, good Lord. Oh. Agreed, Dan. Agreed. They're so entertaining to watch.
Oh, darling. Oh. 那么你在选择材质上面。
That's awesome.
Huh? Me.
Where you headed, bud?
I'm not worried about it, but
What a tease. What the dog doing?
给你迷离了。
What?
I can't remember the other name. I think the one was Bing Crosby. Oh, and oh shoot, Bing Crosby, because of the way she names her cats. What the hell was the other one? I can't think of it right now. Hey, Miss Josie. Good to see you, dear. What was the other name? I can't remember the other name. Shoot. Bing Crosby. It'll hit me. Don't worry. I'll come back with it.
Huh?
That was smart.
Huh?
What? Really? Oh, Bing Crosby and Mr. Miyagi. What the hell? That's great. That is great. Like fighting marshmallows.
Baba Bowie.
Do it.
What the hell is that? That was a goat. Really?
Huh?
As much as I love cats, I have to say they are assholes. All right, y'all. I think that's gonna do it for today. Mama Bear's not back though. All true crime people should be required to watch at least 15 minutes of comical animal videos a day to cleanse. Amen to that, Dan. Amen to that. With what we watched today, we definitely needed a little bit of palate cleansing on that one for sure. It's good to see you, buddy. So I probably will be back here later this afternoon, guys. And I really appreciate you guys joining me and Mama Bear today for that cold case. If anybody ever does anything new pop up about it, please make sure to send it my direction. I'm curious. And like I said, I hope to see, if I do show back up here this afternoon, I hope to see you guys here. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day. I was trying to wait till Mama Bear came back, but
I'm here.
Holy Okay, that was great. You did it once again. Thank you. You're so sweet. Anyway, now that she's back, we can end everything. I didn't want to leave you hanging, but like I said, I'll probably be back this afternoon. Thank you, Mama Bear, for joining me and scaring the dog shit out of me. And you guys are amazing. Appreciate you all very much. Like I said, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing, guys. You guys are the beautiful people. Please make sure to hit the like button before you head out that door, and make sure you hit that link at the top of the chat there and pop on over, and even though she don't deserve it right now, and hit that like button on Mama Bear's side, please. And thank you all. I appreciate you all very much, and we will see you all very soon, y'all.
Bye, guys. I'll see you later.
Moderators, go into the voice channel after the fact so I can yell at somebody and have witnesses. Bye, guys.
Bye. Somebody clip it for me.
Yeah, of course. Smart ass.
Typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data facts, sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless, he won't stay quiet. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking cases, open hearts filled with fear. His channel's a beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The clicks and the likes, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Daniel's a warrior through the trials he waits. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, are streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Truth out, answering the call. For every soul forgotten, he's here to stand tall. Daniel the genuine, will always give it his all. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth.